Good morning, traders. Welcome to the London session. Our traders are here. Not everybody in the group is yet, so hopefully by the end of the session, we'll have everybody in. For my YouTube viewers and for viewers on trading.live, this will be recorded for you as well as a weekly outlook, which means it's going to be only once a week you get this. And we do this 5 times a day. You're only getting one for the week. Now, if you would like to have the rest of it, if you would like to have it twice a day or 5 times a day, send me a Skype message. I think by now, if you're watching me for a number of weeks or days, you know where to find the Skype message in the description. If you're seeing this video for the very first time, click in the description. The Skype link is there to add Skype and then to send me a message. If you don't want to skip, if you don't want to go click the link, you already have Skype. It's MANGAL 457. If you have Skype, send me a message. So if you will allow me 1 minute to tell you something very, very interesting that happened this morning. So I'm sitting in front of my computer and I receive a Skype message saying, good morning, Anil. I watched your live trading session last week, which is we had an entire week of live trading. If you missed it, go watch it. It's on YouTube and it's on Trading Live. And I would like to take up your offer of $100 for 2 months. That is, you pay $100 for the first 2 months. You will have access to the 2 days, the 2 live trading sessions. That is going to be the live trading sessions for London and New York. Let me show you the message just in case you're asking, right? This is the message, right? So the person is sending me this message. You'd like to take up the offer of 100 for 2 months. And I'm looking at this message and I can see that this person had some conversation with me earlier. Well, a lot of people have wrote me earlier asking, and people might ask 2 or 3 times. And I'm thinking, wait a second, this guy was in our group. And I asked him, I said, I thought you were in the group because I see you in the conversation as being in our group previously in Slack. He was there in 2018. He took the course in 2018. His payment came in 2018. He took the course and he literally kind of disappeared. So he said, yes, I was there, but I wasn't active and I didn't, the conversation went on. He didn't. I was like, and then I said, if you were in the group, you have lifetime access. You don't have to pay anything. I think that was a surprise to him. Not that he had lifetime access, but that you can leave the group for 5 years and still come back and have access to it. Because he was willing to pay to join and to pay the full payment for the course again. Now, traders, when I tell traders you have lifetime access, a lot of traders don't really know what that means. I can tell. Because we have people who would come back every now and then and, they were not sure whether they'll be accepted back. And some traders are even willing to pay twice for it. You don't have to. This is what lifetime access means. Quick video conversation with him, confirm his identity, and he's back in the group. So that is the surprise. That's what lifetime access means. When you join us, you have lifetime access to this group. If you have to leave for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You can come back anytime you want. No questions asked. Prove your identity. Prove that you are who you are. And that's why in our group, everybody use their real names. Because if you don't use your real names, you will have problem proving that identity to get back in. So far, in my experience, only one person couldn't do that. Because his Skype name was different from the name he gave us in the group to join. He had one Skype name, he had another name in the group, and his passport or his driver's license were totally different names. Sorry, I can't decide which of those 3 names are yours. And I cannot connect them. So even if you use a different Skype name, when you join the group, you should use the name on your passport. We already mentioned that to everybody. Because if you lose contact and you have to come back, we need to know that you're the right person back. But very quick, let's move on. Just to tell you guys what lifetime access means. So when you join us, you do have lifetime access. And for those who are joining the installment thing, you will have 2 sessions a day that will be absolutely free if you do decide to continue and become a full member. All the sessions you're going to have until you complete your payment are absolutely free. Because you're not paying for them. You're paying for the course. And once you pay for the course, you're going to have complimentary lifetime access to the group, which means as long as you're trading and the group is here, you will be here. As long as I'm alive, the group will be here. When I'm gone, I hope it will stay on. We have a really well set up structure in the group that will allow it to stay for as long as possible without me. I know it will go on without me, and I can tell you why. There were times when I was off this group for months because I was sick or I had to do other stuff, and it went on as smoothly as possible, with traders coming in every day in the trading room, trading and making trades. Literally, making good trades, making money, and still stay here. My presence is just a hope, right? It's kind of hope for traders who are struggling. It's kind of guidance for those who are already successful. And I am replaceable because we have really great traders in the group. So the group will go nowhere. It will be here forever. I personally don't know of any other group that is so structured like ours, because most other group, the one single person who is running the group or the 2 or 3 guys who run the group, they're so, I know, scared or not very confident of themselves. They don't allow other traders to present. You don't find that in other groups where any trader can present. Any trader in my group can come in there, open the group, and be there and present. I actually encourage them to do that. Some of them I actually force to do it, because you have got to be independent. The only way you can trade successfully is becoming an independent trader. That's the only road to success. Watching other people trade will never make you successful. You have got to be that independent trader with having the drive to make independent decisions on your own. And we train traders in here to become that. Make independent decisions. And not only that, a whole room. Why do you think the YouTube is so flooded with wave traders? People who can make videos and present themselves there. You want to know where they learn most of that? Right in this group. Anyone with a wave analysis or a wave kind of thing in YouTube, learned it here, got his training here. That's the kind of people we produce. Well, the honest ones. Let's put it that way. Let's go. Sorry for the long introduction, but I was kind of happy to have Keith back with us. And I was surprised he was willing to pay twice for it, which means the course is worth something. To me, that's a great surprise. Somebody's willing to pay twice for it. That's honesty, and that's great. Let's go. It made my day. I'm happy. Let's go. Dollar index. Dollar index, last week we were buying it because we assume it's going to go higher. Structurally, I many times mentioned it. Structurally, these patterns could change, right? But it's always, and we had this conversation in the room this morning in the Asian session, always about looking at the bigger picture, where it can go, why it can go there, and what pattern will be created. So as of now, we're going with a possibility of a running flat. It does not mean it cannot change from a running flat into an expanding flat into any other things. It means based on what we have now, the most likely pattern is running flat. And we're online with that. So far, it's going great. So when it comes a little higher or at any point in time now, it can turn. I expect it to go a little higher, but we'll see. Any buy setup we get, we'll take. This was a good buy, we'll take more buys. It's still a buy, so I'll leave it as a buy setup. Silver, we were selling Friday. I think the sell didn't go very well in that it didn't drop very much. So I would say let's keep selling it, but if it's not dropping, we'll stop that at some point. It's still a sell, take this off. That's kind of a break even. When you move it like that, I call them break even trades. It didn't really go anywhere. There's another flag here. I think we should go because silver does have a chance of breaking this low, so we should go with the sell. Still take the sell, and let's see if this one goes. Let's hope this one drops. We don't have any news event today that could create sharp momentum, but it might go slowly. All right, this one already have 2 small flags like that. So my traders, if it start making that channel with those flags, you can stay with it for a longer period of time. It might just channel its way down to the bottom here and then go back up, which means it's going to make a series of small flags like that, like this. Drop, make another one. Drop, make another one, drop, make another one, and it could get its way all the way to the bottom here before we go back up. So if you start to see this, you have to survive the first one. Since it is already 1, 2, if you take the second one, you may have to survive this third one and let it drop and then get it to break even and just stay with it. See how far it goes. Worst case is break even. And if it's going to reverse, you know what to do. So we'll leave this as a sell. Actually, it's an active sell because you already have a consolidation there for an hour. You have about 4 hours. So that's an active sell setup. Gold, we were not selling, and I think we did the right thing. It didn't go anywhere. Actually, we bought this one up and we bought this one up, and then we were buying this one up. So those buys were positive buys, some of them even profit. And right now it's kind of going down. I still don't think you should sell it. we're at the point where gold doesn't have a lot to go. It's the risk is not worth the reward you're going to get if it's go down a little more, right? So probably stay away from gold. And it can turn anytime. Literally, this can turn anytime. So I think we focus on getting the buy in gold when it turns, because you might get a sudden, take this off. You could get a sudden sharp spike to the upside. This one actually worked well. Take that off. We're still going down. Actually, it has a sell setup, but like I said, I'm not very keen on selling it. It's up to you if you want to sell it, but there is a sell setup here now, which means it can drop like this and then start the reversal. Right? So I would say you can sell it if you want to. Worst case, you'll get out for break even if you can do that. If it comes here and start to go up, well, we'll go for the buy. It might go down really slow in relationship to the other pairs because the other pairs are moving fast. Some of the ones so I'll take this off. There's no buy setup. Euro, we sold euro. We sold this one. I think it's going really good. We pretty much expect it to go much lower. So any sell setup you get, you should take. Minimum is breaking this low. That's the minimum when we took the trade. So right now, any flag you get, you can sell. It doesn't have a really good flag right now. It has like 2 hours and it's pulling back. I'll say let it make a bigger flag here now. And that should be a sell setup. This one is not going to turn until we break the low. So you have a sell. There's definitely going to be at least one more sell in it. And then we'll see what happens. Is there a possibility for this to be some kind of a bigger flat pattern? I think that's something our traders were discussing, which is amazing. It's only in our group you'll get that discussion. Can this come back here and then drop again? Potentially, yes, because all the pieces are equal, right? Small one here, small one here, small one here, small one. Actually, this one is the biggest one, so maybe not. Right? If you look at them, right, this one is the bigger one than these two. So maybe it's going to drop most likely. But that possible could happen. That the potential of it going back up to the top here and then coming down is okay. What are the potential of this being a big flat at the bottom for the total upside? Could be. We've seen it, rare, but we've seen that to where you have a big flat. This was the turning point. And this one actually just took off, never to come back. So if you get buy setups, take it. Right? If we don't have anything close to a buy setup, but if it should happen, that's the next 6 hours from now, we'll take it. That's most likely. If you're going to get a buy setup, it's probably New York session, not today. Or maybe not now, sorry. New York session or tomorrow. It's still a sell. Go for this. I'll leave it as a sell setup because we don't have this trade. The trade was on Friday. That trade is gone. Right? We're looking for a setup now to sell. Pound, probably the same thing. Yes. The sell is not going very far, but it's still going to drop. I don't like the fact that this is pulling back so much, which means when it doesn't drop like this, this pattern could become more complex. Or we're going to slowly crawl down to the bottom here and then take off. I would like to have a channel here. I think my traders know why the channel is good for us, because that sudden spike out of a channel is predictable and is tradable. We know how to trade it. And when they happen, we get a lot of them. So if we get that channel, that'd be great. If it just dropped, no problem. Let it drop in reverse. It's still a sell. You can actually go with the sell setup. But once it breaks, when it breaks this low, then we'll see. I don't think we're trying to turn to the upside again. There's a lot of consolidation in here. So I can probably assume that this might make a bigger flat here. Not really turn, but make a bigger flat. That should not surprise us, but you get a bigger flat before it drops. So it's not the best sell, but it's a sell. They're all coming to a point where they can turn, and that is why the sells are not so aggressive. The impulses are not big, and they're not dropping like crazy. Because once it gets here, we'll be looking for the turn. And I think this week we'll get that turn. We have a lot of divergence to support that. So maybe this week we'll get a turn. We'll be trading this up, and that would be amazing. So if you're one of the viewers who like what we do and you're thinking you would like to get that up move there with us in a live session, you may consider sending a Skype message right now. Let's go. So this one also, we're waiting for a flag to sell. We don't have any setup in it. Aussie, we're at the bottom of this possible flat pattern. I don't see anywhere else we can do that. I really hate the idea of putting this as a contracting flat here. It's possible, but I hate that idea. And even if it's a contracting flat, when we break the low, what happens? It goes back up because this is still pretty corrective. That doesn't, it's not an impulsive move to the downside as a single move. It's actually still correction within, even in relationship to this one, it's pretty corrective. So I think, we're going to be stuck here for a while. Once we break this low, the chance of it going back up is pretty high, and we are at the low already. The question is, how low can it go beyond that? Can it break this low and go farther beyond that? At this point here, I will not take any risk of selling it. I'll pretty much look for a buy setup. Even if it drops, I would not want to sell in this area. Let it break. And when it breaks, if it makes any of these flags again, I don't know, something like this, something like this. If it stays there, make something like that. Because when they break the low, that will likely happen. Right? When it breaks through the structure as such, and it make that bigger correction, well, then we'll continue down. We'll assume that, you know what, there's much more downside. And we will probably go with the contracting flat. So let's see. At this point, if it gives a reversal in the buy setup, we're absolutely in it. The sell was good on Saturday. The sell was to break this low and probably tag this low. Both of those were good. This morning, if you took the trade, was a good idea. If you took this morning to break this low, I think that's great. Well, we were discussing how we were going to exit it, right? You know the rules on how to exit. And let's see. We'll take this off completely. We don't have anything there. New Zealand, you can still sell. There's still a lot more to the downside. I think when we took that trade on Friday, I said minimum is breaking this low, probably coming all the way here. Not an exact point, but as if you get sell setup, keep selling. So this was a sell here. That was a sell. You can probably take this one out. You can actually put it here now. If you sold this morning, that's good. Right? That is really good if you did, because it's under the low. This one is under the low. Any sell under the low will take. Can this turn? Let's see in the 4 hour. So in the 4 hours, we're pretty much in this correction here, and how we're going to put it. We were discussing that this morning, and there's a possibility for an expanding flat in here, something probably we overlooked. Okay, this one is sharp. This came down and that is sharp. And another expanding flat in this one, which means if you go with 1, 2, 3 here, that's an expanding flat. That leaves these two open for another expanding flat. Now, I've never seen 3 expanding flats in one pattern, but as a pattern, it looks 1, 2, 3. It looks perfect. As a pattern, we can't deny the fact that it's a pattern that makes sense, but with 3 expanding flats inside, this one was relatively sharp. We were putting it with this piece, but what if it's not? So that's like an option for you to take a look at. The next option is probably putting this as a flat and hoping that all of this comes back here. Maybe this is a separate one of its own, or this whole piece here. If that is it, then this one wouldn't fit there, right? We'll see. Let this develop. We are pretty early in it, and I'm not sure how many more pieces will come on. Maybe all the other pieces will make sense. If it goes up back from here, definitely we'll go to the expanding flats, the 3 expanding flats. As of now, we have it as, you can probably even put it like this. We have it as this one, and this one is 2 separate flats. That is also an option, right? 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 there, but this is a single one, right? There's an option. The only thing about this is I don't like the fact that this is smaller than this one. So that pattern is kind of not common, and it's most unlikely, put it that way. The most likely one would be the 3 expanding flats if we go back up from here. But let's see. We're pretty close to turning. Go to the 1 hour. It's still sell. They can go as low as possible. They can come back and retest this low. Not that it will, but that is a possibility. Sell. Any sell setup we get, we'll take. Actually, we put this on active sell right now. Swiss, dollar Swiss. Okay, it broke out. You should have bought earlier too. Probably not there. That was Friday, right? You should have bought this somewhere in here if you wanted to take an active trade, somewhere more in here, this piece. But 1, 2, 3, we're coming down back for this one. It's probably going to come back here. That is a flat, and then one more up. Why do we need 2 flats? We have 2 flats right into each other. That doesn't make sense. We have a big flat here, and we're getting another flat here. Not good. Take off the trade. And anyways, you're out of that trade already. I don't like the idea of having 2 flats into each other, which means we're not really going up as fast or as high as we think we can go. So this is going to come down back a little, but it's one more up at least. I don't think we're turning from there to the downside, because structurally, I don't see that fitting into anything we have here. It's not really fitting into anything we have. This was good. This was good. This was a sharp drop, and that needs to go break the top, at least this top. We're still looking for a buy setup. What we can do is we can allow it to drop here and then look for a flag here to the upside. If not, take the breakout. It is a bit quiet, so I think it might stay here. They hold it tomorrow. That trade will be possible. Just be a little cautious because these two flats together are not really common. It happens sometimes, but it's rare. Mostly on the yen pairs. Because yen start moving in the Asian session, and then in the New York session, there's another consolidation before it goes. So we'll see. Keep an eye on this. It's still a buy setup. I'll put it as a setup because it's not an active trade as yet. You can wait for a flag from the bottom, which means from this low going up, get a flag or take the top to breakout. Yeah. Okay, so the question is, we broke the top, now are we reversing? Remember what I said, it's going to break the top. So we got this, we broke the top. We can confirm this now. And confirm the running flat to be true. Regardless of what happens now, that running flat is true, right? So it's either this will continue to go up all the way here, the running flat hasn't changed, that's perfect, or we're gonna go down here, and the running flat is absolutely corrected. So we confirm the running flat. Question is upside or downside? Which one? Upside if we think this running flat with the previous one is finished. Downside if we think we're making a flat here for one more up. And both of those could be true. Well, a lot depends on what the dollar is going to do, right? So let's go to the 1 hour and see. Yen could move on its own as well. Don't forget that. If the yen starts to change value on its own, we will trade all the yen pairs. And that would most likely mean yen strengthening, going down. If yen is going to change value of its own, it's probably going to go down. Because it's not like yen is the strongest currency. They wouldn't move yen on its own. So it will probably get stronger. If the dollar moves, then yen will move according to all the majors. Right now, do we have a sell setup or a buy setup? Take this out. I think in the 15 minutes, let's see. Pretty much neither of those. It's definitely not a buy setup because we don't have anything. All we have is this, and we're kind of consolidating in the lower part of it. That could change if this is to go back up to the top there and then come back here. Only then we will get a buy setup. But a sell setup could happen much faster. That is if we come back here and then do this and we get that. Now we will have a good sell setup. So the sell setup could happen today. The buy setup will take maybe with the end of the day or tomorrow. Since we broke the top already, the higher probability will be looking for the sell setup. It's not a sell setup as yet. I could see a possible running flat forming, which means if this starts to come back, if this go break that top there, it will be here, right? You don't want it to go back to that top. If it stays there and then turn, we sell immediately. But better for us would be is if this comes down here and then pull back, giving us a running flat like that. This sell becomes with a lot more confidence. Because a running flat is downside and then it will stay away from the top, which is going to be better for us as a sell. I would say look for the sell setup. The buy is already gone. We'll look for a sell setup. We don't have a setup, but look for the setup. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD still going up. I think this could become, we'll take this off. By the way, remember we discussed Friday, if that tag you and you pull back, what you do, right? So not that you didn't close the trade here, you closed it. The option is this is here was for a while you closed it. If you took it, you close it. If you didn't, then you know how you should have got out of that for break even. It makes sense, right? So what we're doing, we're looking at this. This is a sharp move down, and we have two options. We can either put that sharp move in an expanding flat, which is possible, which means this will probably go up some more, or we'll make a running flat here in the future, which means this comes here, break the top, drop back here, and then go. Which of those is possible based on the bigger structure? Both of them, right? It could probably make a bigger flat here and then go up, or it could just keep going up from where it is. So if you go with this is all the consolidation, going up is not an option, and any flag you get, you buy, we'll take it, we'll probably put this as an expanding flat. Probably get that as an expanding flat. I think we had this similar thing here where this becomes an expanding flat and then go up. If you get a flag here, buy it. Buy it, put a stop under the low, just in case it becomes a running flat and then go, you would survive that one. So the stop should be here, the entry there, and then see whether that goes. Is there a chance for this to break the top and come back and retest this low? I think a little unlikely. Possible, but unlikely. In any case, you'll exit that trade earlier. So go with a buy setup. You can put it above the top. That might be a better idea. Although the chance of them tagging you and pulling you down is very strong for a possible running flat. So if you really want to take the trade, go ahead. If not, let it break out again and see if there's another flag coming. And if there's another flag coming, then great. So this trade, although it's a valid trade, is a little risky. I would like to see them pull back first, and then the buy becomes an easier one. So we'll take it out. We would put anything there, and then we'll come back to it. Those are for the majors. So in the weekly outlook, we record all the majors, our views on what the majors are doing. We also do some of the indices here. You're gonna have like oil. We're gonna put oil. We're gonna put gas. We'll put some of the indices on, and then we will do some cryptos. For traders who would like to have more, which means you would like to have this entire list of analysis for yourself, or maybe one that you do specially only you do, you'll have to join us in either the installment program or the full course, and you'll have access to all of that. So let's go. Scroll down to, let's start with natural gas. Natural gas here. Start with natural gas. Okay, seems we're going back up. We dropped already, but they're going back up. So the sell wasn't a bad idea. I think you probably, worst case is you got break even, you probably close to some profit. Now this is a sharp pullback. So if we're gonna make a big flat here and then continue to go, this pullback makes sense. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna allow it to consolidate here. And if the consolidation stays there, go for a buy. But remember, you're within this structure because this can be all the correction. It could be part of a correction. So this could come back to the top, come back here, and then go. And that's the simplest thing that could happen. There are worse things that could it be that we're reversing, right? Instead of going back up, we're reversing, but this is making a bigger flat. Again, you will get an impulse up. If that's the case, this is going to probably do this, go back up there. You don't have to buy it anymore. You look for the sell. So remember this morning topic, how we identify whether it's changing. Here is a good example to track. All right, this is a good example to track and follow up with that. Is it going to be a sell or a buy? And if you were in the trade, how we would manage it. So you can, like, theoretically say you were in the trade in this sell. Let's say this sell or a sell here, just for the purpose of how you're going to manage this one as an exit. That's for my traders. Let's go. Oil. US oil, what does it do? So I'll take this off. This is becoming a buy setup, but we're looking for a buy setup there. US oil, let's see what we have. This sell, but I'll probably tag you. You'll have to take off the sell, by the way. This was a sell on Friday before that up move happened. Right? This was the flag here that would have been a sell. It didn't drop, it actually went up. And then it came back down. So can we assume that that is all correction there? You do have a kind of a small flat, probably 5 minutes, 15 minutes correction here. I think you can look at that as a correction. Yep, it didn't go up sharp. So yep, you can make an argument that this is a 1, 2, 3. And if we get a 1, 2, 3 there, where could it go? Yeah, it could continue to go up. So the buy is quite possible. You can put an entry order here for a buy. It might be channeling, put an entry order there for a buy, or wait for a flag from the bottom here to there. Which means it's not a running flat, but it could channel. Both of those corrections to the downside were relatively sharp. Come on. Now, this is assuming it's turning from this point. If it's not turning from that point and instead it makes a flag here, you can sell. You'll take off this line and you'll keep selling. This would become the top. I don't think it is, because normally this would drop immediately. It wouldn't stay there. But because they're staying there, if they consolidate there, you'll still take the sell. But right now, structurally, it looks more like they're going to try to start to make some kind of a channel at the top there, or ending diagonal or something, and we'll see. So go for the trade. The buy is right now possible. The sell would only be after a couple hours. So I'm going to put it as a buy setup, which might not happen if it makes a flag. But if it doesn't make a flag, it's a good trade. It's actually a good trade to go break that top, and now we don't know how high it's going to go after that. Right? S&P 500. The downside is going slowly, slowly. It's still sell, but take it off. It's not going anywhere. I mean, you had a lot of chance to take break even there, so I don't think that's a problem. I'll take this out. This is a problem because it's not going anywhere. Can we look at a possible running flat still for sell? Why not? Looks good to me. It's good to still be some kind of a running flat forming here, which means if this makes a little flag here instead of breaking the top, that could be still a sell. It might not go very, go a lot, but the sell is still valid. We don't have any buy setups, not as yet. Right? Even if it's going to become a buy, we don't have any buy setups. What are the possible running flat? I think that's possible. This just goes back there, make a running flat like this, and then drop. We could probably get a buy there if we get a consolidation and then get the sell. So on the 1 hour, no buy setup. Right? There's a little flag in here, but I hate that idea because it's this one, right? Not flag, it's more of a flat because this is a flat. We came back to the low and this would just have to break this top and then drop. That will give you this flag. So I think the sell setup is a better idea than the buy. We'll take it off for now and we'll wait for a setup to sell. Okay. This one is in the middle of nowhere. The bigger picture is upside. So we expect this to take off from here, but we need to break one of these lows. So if you go with that as some kind of an expanding flat there, this could drop one more. I don't think we want to sell it unless you get a flag here. If this becomes a flag here, like this piece here, and then you get the sell set up with this entry here and a stop here, it will make sense. As of now, it doesn't make sense for the sell. And we don't have a buy setup. We would let it drop. As of now, if we don't get the flag, we let it drop here, and then we start to look for the buy setup from here going up. Let's see if we get it. We'll see. NASDAQ. If this didn't go up either, and the most likely thing you're going to get now is an up move. Because I don't think after this, we're not going to get something like this or something like this, for example. So we'll see. The sells at the bottom here are not really great anymore. It could drop a little more, but not really the best. Let them pull back or make a correction or something, and then we'll look for a sell setup. Take this off. Nifty. If you trade Nifty, it's kind of going sideways. So if the sell would have triggered, you would take off the buy. This is a deeper correction. You should be in this sell, in this trade going. You could have got it a little higher. Let's say when we put this on, this was a sharp move up. We didn't have this consolidation, and we didn't have this consolidation. So one of those two could be the sell. If it's the second one, perfect. If it's the first one, you'll be a couple pips up. It broke the low already, which means you start looking to take profit. If this doesn't drop through the bottom and you're in the trade, take profit. If that drops through the bottom, then good, stay with the trade. DAX. So we'll take this off as well. Okay, it's coming down not like we would like it to go, but it came down somewhat. It came down this much. I don't know, probably wait for this to pull back a little, close the trade. Or put it in break even and take break even. We didn't break this low. And I think there's a good chance we will go break that low. Whether it makes a bigger flat here or not, we'll see. But any sell setup you get here, take it. When we break that low, then you can think of it going back up. I think breaking that low would be pretty important because once you break the low, you can expect this to go back up. So it might be there for a while. We don't have an upside, so we just have to wait. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin kind of dropping slowly here. I think we will break this low. Right now, it's going really slow. Right? This one would have been a break-even trade. This one would have been a break-even trade. If you try to take another one here, it might be a break-even trade. I wanted to just break this low. I think we let it just leave it to go down slowly. And if it keeps going down that slow, break the low. Turn, do we get a buy setup? Yes, we can. So the question is now, is this trying to make a buy setup here? Is this trying to go up now? Because they did the same thing here, right? This came back to the low and then up. You can repeat the same thing here and then up one more. That would still be something like this for downside. And if it's going up that slow and pulling back so deep, it's most likely downside. And we will break out of the bigger structures as well. We don't have any sell setup here. The best sell setup would have been putting something like this, putting an entry here, but already closing that trade. And we We don't have buy or sell setups. We don't have anything. It's just going to crawl on slowly, and I think we leave it. Because the sells are not great, and we don't have any buy setup. Ethereum. Okay, this looks like you have a buy setup on a shorter time frame here. This looks like a buy. So the sell is off because they're consolidating there. They're actually not turning, but consolidating. So we might look at this as the D flat. That will be the end of the structure, and this here would be the flat. Right, so we can look at that as the flat. I'll take these out. Right, kind of a 1, 2, 3. It does a 1, 2, 3 drop low. Now we're going up. That's a buy setup we have. So put a buy entry above the top, the last impulse. That's a good idea. Let's see. And we know this can go some more. Right, potentially we know this could come back all the way back to the top there. We'll see if it goes. It's a good buy setup actually. You put an entry order on, you already have a buy. And XRP. Okay, kind of going sideways, might go down some more. I think we can see this as a flag for downside, but within a running flat pattern. Let me go back to the 1 hour. There's a little flag here, but that is within the bigger picture. So they might just drop here, go back up, and then drop again. This isn't anything. That's a sell setup at the moment. ADA. Okay, this one looks like it's coming down really deep, although breaking, going up like that would have been a better idea. So I will take this off because it's not doing that. And we'll take this off because we're not really going to kind of channeling down here. Now, if you pull a line like this, you would see more of a channel going down. And I mean, with this. This could come down here somewhere and then go back up. Would we put this as a flat like this? Maybe 1, 2, 3. Watch it when it breaks this low for a buy. I'll leave this pattern here, and as soon as this low is broken, start looking for buy setups. Right? This could probably come down somewhere here. And then up. So keep an eye on it. I'm not sure the sell is a great idea. LTC, yeah, upside, short term. It's already coming back, right? They kind of went a little lower, but this looks like it can make one more up. Bring this down to just about where the last impulse is, that is here. And that's a buy setup. How far? This was a sell. How far that buy would go? Well, the minimum is coming back to this top and then drop again, which will put us in this channel. Right, kind of drop, go back up, drop, go back up, drop again. Maybe then go up still. Because well, that's what we were expecting. We're expecting it to come here and then go back up. So yes, it's really good one. Right? Can it go up from this point here, take off? I think that's a good thing. It could go from there. So this buy is amazing because this buy might even go through the top, or it will just come to this one and then go make a new low and then go. So we have some more to complete the pattern ideal, but it doesn't have to be ideal, which means this could have perfect running flat if it goes from here. I like the buy setup. It's almost very nice. Worst case is when it comes here and start to go and try to get break even out of it. So it's a buy setup, an active buy. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more, and then I'm gonna do this one. Yeah, you got a buy setup here too, and it's almost perfect. Got a flat. Wait for a flag here and take that trade up. Let's see. Can it drop one more to the bottom? Also possible. But then you need a flag here. You need this to prove that we're not making that flat. Instead, we're making a flag here. And then this flag could come and break the low. Right, that's an option there. And the last one, BNB. It's gonna go down some more. I think I can take this off. This seems like consolidation for more downside. I don't see them really taking off from here. Most likely this will drop. and then drop one more. Break these lows, and then we'll see if we're going up after that. Once we break through those lows, we'll see whether it's ready for upside. Because this is starting to look like, it might go up. Let's see if we can break these lows and then go back up. So take that off. And that's it, guys. For my YouTube viewers, if you like it and you would like more, you know what to do. Send me a Skype message. Trade with care. You have a whole week ahead of you. And the trading.live traders, if you'd like to join us too, you know what to do. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you very much. And have a nice week ahead of you.